Warning, this is the longest YouTube video I've ever made. You know what? The warning. You've seen how long this video was and still chose to click on it. There's a lot of pauses in this video. If that bothers you, well...
Alright YouTube, never fear, Snake Venom is here. We're back with more Ren. This time, the much requested, actually the most requested song or songs of Ren is the Tale series that everybody's been recommended down in the comments. So we've got the Tale of Jenny and Screech here. I believe the third one is called Violet, as I saw in the comments as well. So the Tales of Jenny, Screech, and Violet opted for the full scope of things, so we're going to try and pack it all into one video here. Watch them all back to back to back in succession. Just finished up Happy by NF, and that was a crazy cinematic, traumatic tale there. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. That'd be greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all y'all. We reached 1,000 subscribers. I don't know if we'll ever reach 10,000, but hey, if we did, that would be pretty cool too. So, I see this video is over 13 minutes long here, so we're just going to hop right into it. I appreciate all the renegades out there. We're going to venture back into the Ren rabbit hole. We're getting ready to go down our NF journey as well, so I'm really excited that I'm checking out both of these artists here at the same time, simultaneously, and learning about one another. They're both crazy artistic geniuses with how they put things together. Right now, we're going to get into some Ren, the Tale of Jenny and Screech. Right away, he's controlling me with his guitar strumming. He just took me over. Bum, 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 bum. And it's just so soothing. I mean, he can play the guitar, he can sing, he can rap, he can do it all. And the strumming of the guitar is just very ambionic and just setting here. I think he has another microphone on him, so this is another live recording here, maybe a one-shot piece. I've noticed he does a lot of one-shot pieces, and I think that's just masterful of his craft. It's just a man and his guitar, and he has no other backup instruments here except the sound of his voice. So he's not only going to be speaking to us, but he's creating the sound of instruments with his vocalizations. I used to make something similar to those sounds, like a trumpet sound with my mouth, like something similar when I was a kid.
It was a quiet, dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny walked alone, she was dragging her feet. She was heading back home to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, because she walked it about 1,000 times before she wanted to escape.
So he's telling us the tale of Jenny. So this is a third-person perspective. He's explaining to us the tale of Jenny and who she was. Okay. All right, run it back.
It was a quiet, dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City.
Oh, the peaks and valleys, up and down.
Jenny walked alone, she was dragging her feet. She was heading back home to sleep.
Oh, I love that.
Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, because she walked it about 1,000 times before she wanted to escape.
Ah, okay. He said she wanted to escape, and she's looking over her shoulder. She's walking down. So we have the setting, a very dark alley, and he's representing Jenny here. this is his embodiment of her. She's walking down the street, but he's also telling a third-person perspective. So there's a little bit of a first-person perspective with his mannerisms, but also a third-person perspective in telling the tale to us. So he's in a dark alley, she's in a dark alley. He's representative of the description he's explaining to us of her. And she's looking over her shoulder, so very nervous. She's walked the alley 1,000 times before, and she's walking home late at night, so she's looking over her shoulder, making sure nobody's following her, the dangers that lie in those dark alleys. You gotta be careful, especially if you're a female and you're out in those alleys late at night.
Jenny walked alone, she was dragging her feet. She was heading back home to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, because she walked it about 1,000 times before. She wanted to escape. Can you blame? Well, on the very same night, in a different place, there walked this hooded young youth by the name of James. He was 14 years old and out of his brain, he'd been smoking ganja with the boys.
There is a lot of tempo that he just raised on us here, and the focus he brought into the camera, just really staring at us. The pace changed entirely. Something dramatic is building here.
Escape. Can you blame? Well, on the very same night, in a different place, there walked this hooded young youth by the name of James. He was 14 years old and out of his brain, he'd been smoking ganja with the boys. James, he grew up to be a kid of the street. His mates called him Screech, he was quick on his feet. He was a liar, a thief, at 14 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul.
Oh, shit. So, he just brought in Screech. Okay, that's the next tale here. But he's intertwining the tales. So he's introducing Screech now while he's on the tail of Jenny. So possibly they're going to cross paths. Okay? And Screech is out with his friends. He's smoking a little ganja. He's 14 years old.
Every same night in a different place, there walked this hooded young youth by the name of James. He was 14 years old and out of his brain, he'd been smoking ganja with the boys. James, he grew up to be a kid of the street. His mates called him Screech, he was quick on his feet. He was a liar, a thief.
Screech, he was quick on his feet. Just like basketball court, you're quick on your feet, you hear the screeching of the shoes. Screech, the boy who's quick on his feet. Oh, nice rhyming.
14 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul. As Jenny walked home.
The devil set his sights on his soul. Maybe an easy little mind to twist, take over the youth, manipulate him. That's not good.
Home all alone, she felt scared. Usually she was alright, but it was like there was something.
Notice how the guitar strumming changes. The pace changed for everything. So he raised the pace when Screech came in, but now he lowered the tempo back down. It's very subtle strumming to represent Jenny, who is perhaps scared, terrified. She's all alone. She's in fear, so she's being very quiet. But that strumming when Screech comes in gets very loud and aggressive.
As Jenny walked home all alone, she felt scared. Usually she was alright, but it was like there was something in the air. A divine intervention telling her to beware, maybe intuition bugging her and making her so scared. Sirens sounded in the distance with the beat.
Her intuition tells her something's wrong. This is different from all those 1,000 other nights that she walked home alone. Her intuition's telling her something is afoot, and it's trouble.
Usually she was alright, but it was like there was something in the air. A divine intervention telling her to beware, maybe intuition bugging her and making her so scared. Sirens sound in the distance with the beat of Jenny's feet. A symphony of the night that echoes crime on London streets. Jenny turns a corner, their eyes they meet. Up or go Jenny, a boy named Screech. Give me all your money, bitch, give it to me. If you cooperate, then you'll soon be free. I want your purse, your phone, don't fucking look at me. I mean it, bitch, are you listening to me? Jenny freezes that.
I really like that starter jacket he's wearing. I used to have one similar to that when I was a kid. But Screech has now crossed paths with Jenny, and he's threatening her. He's trying to rob her. Okay, so his little 14-year-old mind is being manipulated. Sort of the devilish takeover in his head is making him go a little crazy and get aggressive and start threatening people, especially ladies on the street who are alone.
Bitch, give it to me.
He brings that tempo back in. Give me all your money, bitch. Give it to me.
If you cooperate, then you'll soon be free. I want your purse, your phone, don't fucking look at me. I mean it, bitch, are you listening to me? Jenny freezes statue like a lady shakes stalactite. Feel like liquid nitrogen in the dark night. She tried to find strength to move, but stayed as still as a statue in high-heeled shoes.
Frozen with fear. Jenny's like a statue at this point. So it's not that she's cooperating with what Screech wants, she's just completely frozen. So run it back.
To find strength to move, but stayed as still as a statue in high-heeled shoes. What the hell you playing at? You playing games with me? I swear to fucking God, I'll slice the rosy off your cheeks. You think I don't mean it, girl? You don't know me. The last thing you see will be a boy code. Screech reached with the sheath of the blade, with the teeth that could bite through steel and slice concrete, and he swung possessed with the devil in his chest and the...
Oh my goodness, the rhyme scheme?
Rosy off your cheeks, you think I don't mean it, girl? You don't know me. The last thing you see will be a boy code. Screech reached with the sheath of the blade, with the teeth that could bite.
The sheath with the blade with the teeth?
Through steel and sliced concrete, and he swung possessed with the devil in his chest, and the statue she was turned to butter in her breath.
Wow! Was turned to butter, slicing through her like butter. There was nothing she could do. That blade was so sharp. The way he described that, the blade, just the blade of the knife alone.
The last thing you see will be a boy code. Screech reached with the sheath of the blade, with the teeth that could bite through steel and slice concrete, and he swung possessed with the devil in his chest.
Yes, possessed with the devil in his chest. So the devil has possessed his soul, his young, malleable mind. The devil has consumed him.
And the statue she was turned to butter in her breath.
Almost like she was frozen like a statue, but also they make those sculptures out of butter, sort of statue-like, and she was turned to butter. Another form of a statue.
It was a quiet dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City.
That's how he started the song. Somewhere in London City. The dark streets. So he's calling back to the beginning here. We're going back to the harmonizing. And, oh, his harmonies are so beautiful. Just the way he has so much control over his voice.
Jenny lay still on the cold concrete. She's found somewhere to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, 'cause she'd walked it about 1,000 times before. I guess that she escaped.
Oh. She found somewhere on the ground to sleep. Permanently. But she found her escape. Back at the beginning, she was looking for a way out of the town. She was looking for an escape. And now she has her escape. Not the way she had imagined or wanted, but Screech gave her that escape through death. Oh, so this is a tale of tragedy. This is so Shakespearean-like. I mean, Ren really is a poet. He really is something of a bard. The poetic manipulation that he has with a way with his words and descriptions.
It's such a shame.
Holy, that was beautiful.
Before, I guess that she escaped. It's such a shame.
I love how you can hear the guitar shake rubbing up against the jacket, showing that this is a true live recording. And this is all one shot. We had the camera following him around, and just the focus that he brings, the command that he brings with his eyes, and the single shot. It's just perusing around him through this one controlled space, this dark alley. The setting, the music echoing through the streets. Almost as if you could hear the vocalizations through the streets. Maybe the robberies and the murders and things that go on in those alleys. That's representative of that. You hear them off in the distance, and he's going through the streets of the city at night here, and you can hear him telling these tales. And when you walk up and down these alleys, just imagine the tragedies that took place in the place where you are standing, the alleys where you walked. A tragedy like this can occur and has occurred. And it's that tale. When you walk through there, you hear that in your head. Wow. Just that beautiful harmonizing right there. One more time.
It's such a shame.
Yeah, you can see the live mic. So the tale of Jenny. A tragedy. Okay, and now we have the tale of Screech.
Does Canelo Alvarez...
Oh, hold on. We'll be back after this ad. I really love how he says so much without saying anything. Just if you look at the setting surrounding him. So it's just a man alone on a staircase. It's very dark and shadowy over his face, almost if darkness has befalled him. But then we have that light above him. Again, that sign of hope, maybe. Very, very subtle little things to pick up on. His mind, just him and Sam's mind, the way they put these scenes together really encapsulates the art. And again, here's the camera being drawn in, as if the guitar is drawing us in, just like it did in Jenny's tale. The guitar strumming to open the scene is drawing me in again, and I'm going with the camera. We're zooming in here on his strumming. Yes, shout out to Sam and Ren for putting all of these videos that I've seen from them so far together so masterfully. Screech's tale.
Our story, it starts right at the end of the life of poor Jenny, clocked out like Big Ben. This Screech.
Oh boy. The way he described the ending to Jenny's life. Clocked out like Big Ben. Big Ben, the clock tower, representing her time is up. And not only up, as in Big Ben, but up as in it's over. Wow. Okay. And now I see why we had the light up here above him. This is Screech's tail. Notice as he's descending away from the light, he's descending into darkness because the devil has took his soul. That's why we had that very dark cinematic shot over his face. Darkness has befalled him. The devil consumed him, and he's leaving the light and going into the darkness. He's venturing off the path of good and righteous. The guitar strumming really reminds me of The Devil Went Down to Georgia. And again, we have some more representation of the devil here and the evilness that is Screech now.
Our story, it starts right at the end. At the life of poor Jenny, clocked out like Big Ben. Dear Screech, dear boy, where did he go? He melted into the black night just like snow.
Again, Screech melted into the black night like snow. The darkness has consumed him. He's disappeared into the night.
Patrick, man, let me in, please open the door. I think I fucked up, Patrick, really fucked up, man, I'm not sure. I got crazy, left this lady lying still on the floor. I think I killed her, Patrick, come on, man, I can't knock no more.
Oh, that was so slick. He used the guitar as an instrument and a method of knocking on the door. It represents him knocking. But he used it as a separate instrument, not for what it's intended for. So he doesn't have any drums or any kind of bongos or anything. It's just a man alone with his guitar, and he's making other instrumental sounds. He's using what he has at his disposal. So before it was the trumpet sounds with his voice, now it's the knocking on the guitar. And we have another single shot take here. As the camera is racing around Screech, we're getting the franticness. He's knocking on the door. Someone please help. He's in a panic now because he killed someone.
Like snow. Patrick, man, let me in, please open the door. I think I fucked up, Patrick, really fucked up, man, I'm not sure. I got crazy, left this lady lying still on the floor. I think I killed her, Patrick, come on, man, I can't knock no more.
So now he's panicked and frantic. He's asking for help from his friend. He's knocking on the door, and the racing of the guitar is the racing of his heartbeat. It's representative of that strumming, the strumming of your heart, the strumming of the guitar. Everything is picked up. The pace is picked up. He knows it's a race against the clock. He has to get the hell out of where he's at, and he's seeking help from one of his friends. Help me, I've done something wrong. But in the moment, he was so sure he wanted to kill her and rob her. And now it's that recollection, regretting what he did.
On the floor, I think I killed her, Patrick, come on, man, I can't knock no more. But Screech kept on knocking till his knuckles became sore. But there's no sign of Patrick down at number 54. No refuge for our villain, for the bitter hands of fate, with something far more sinister in mind that does away.
Wow. So again, we have the first-person perspective of Screech knocking on the door, the camera doing great work, showing us how frantic he is and making us live in that moment and be on edge, like what's about to happen next. But then we have the third-person description. So we zoom out from the scene. And now we're being told what is happening to Screech.
I think I killed her, Patrick, come on, man, I can't knock no more. But Screech kept on knocking till his knuckles became sore. But there's no sign of Patrick down at number 54. No refuge for our villain, for the bitter hands of fate.
No refuge for our villain.
With something far more sinister in mind that does away.
There's nowhere you can hide now.
Hey, babe. Are you in? No, nothing really. I'm just a bit tired. Listen, can I swing around yours for a few moments? I just really miss you, babe. What the fuck do you mean you're busy? You fucking bitch! For fuck's sakes!
Listen to the heavy breathing. I love that we are involved in this live moment. We're just a fly on the wall, and we're watching this develop as he's devolving. He's panicked. We're getting those frantic breaths out. He doesn't know. His friend wasn't home, so now he's resorted to calling an ex or a girlfriend or whoever this female character is that he's calling and reaching out to. And she said, hey, I'm busy. And again, there's nowhere for Screech to hide now. He's made a mistake. I love how all of these little intricacies here are really coming together. Whether it's the knocking on the guitar, representing the knocking on the door, and then we have the panicness. You can hear the ruffles in his jacket and the tone change in his voice. When he snaps on her, you can hear the frantic breathing. Everything just comes together so masterfully. And the on-location shooting here, if this is just a singular shot take, if someone were to show up, would they have to redo the take or would they just leave it in? I know, as I've been told in the comments, that Ren is known for his busking and he's used to performing live on the streets. And now for a music video, he's performing live on the streets. This really is something to behold.
Hey, babe, are you in? No, nothing really. I'm just a bit tired. Listen, can I swing around yours for a few moments? I just really miss you, babe. What the fuck do you mean you're busy? You fucking bitch! For fuck's sakes!
So he's snapped. He's in a panic. Hey, babe, can you help me out? No, you can't fucking help me out. And it's like, all right, well, fuck you then. Now he's back to the anger and aggression.
Siren sounds approaching like a banshee in the night. The shrill cry of justice cutting like the sharpest knife. But Screech was never one to run, not one to miss a fight. One hand upon his blade, he turned to face the blue lights.
Oh, oh, and I just stopped it right before a big scream. So now the police are coming. Oh.
In like the sharpest knife. But Screech was never one to run, not one to miss a fight. One hand upon his blade, he turned to face the blue lights. Come on then, you fucking cunts, let's fucking have you then. I am Screech, I'm the boss, I'm the ender of men. You think that uniform you're wearing means that you own these streets? These are my fucking streets, and they call me fucking Screech. Richard was an officer who stood at 6'3", working London on the night shift. What he didn't think he'd see was a boy running at him like an animal possessed. With no time to hesitate, he fired 4 bullets at Screech's chest.
Whoa, again, using the guitar as something other than what it's intended for. This time, a gun. Wow, and the strums representing the bullets, run it back. Screech just lost all form of sanity and rushed towards the cops with a knife. Wow, he completely snapped. Look at the psychoticness in his eyes. And he doesn't know what to do. He's at his wit's end, and he just said, screw it. I don't give a shit. I run these streets. They call me Screech. You think because you're in a uniform for the cops, you run these streets? Wrong. So Screech is out here running these streets. And he's literally, Ren is representing him while he's walking the streets. Again, that first person, third person perspective. Wow. This is masterful. Maybe Screech comes from a broken home. He's only 14, and now he's out running the streets with his friends. He's killed someone.
One to miss a fight, one hand upon his blade, he turned to face the blue lights. Come on then, you fucking cunts, let's fucking have you then. I am Screech, I'm the boss, I'm the ender of men. You think that...
He used that ender of men, representative of the devil again, and now the devil has consumed Screech in this instance.
That uniform you're wearing means that you own these streets. These are my fucking streets, and they call me fucking Screech.
And he's just yelling out. This is probably like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and he's just wandering the streets. There's nobody around. Just imagine being a passerby late at night. You're coming home from work or whatever, and you hear somebody yelling down the alley.
Richard was an officer who stood at 6'3", working London on the night shift. What he didn't think he'd see was a boy running at him like an animal possessed. With no time to hesitate, he fired 4 bullets at Screech's chest. Our story, it ends right at the start. Young Screech and poor Jenny lying 1 street apart.
Wow. So it's a callback to the beginning of this tale now. Our story ends right where it begins. Our story begins right where it ends for Jenny. Oh my. So now Screech's story has ended. But karma came for him. He killed Jenny, and now he was killed. And he's just 1 street over from her. So it's the parallels of the two. She dies, he dies. An eye for an eye.
Oh, Jenny, lying 1 street apart. An officer shaken by the boy that he claimed. 2 bodies lay lifeless. And it's such a shame.
So he put the officer's size and description out there because he had to kill a 14-year-old boy. And that's the other retrospective of not only is it sad that Screech had to die as a 14-year-old youth, but the officer who had to take his life to protect his own. And now there's that traumatic event that police officer has to live with. So now that's stuck in his mental. So he put the description of the officer out there to show that there's another side to the story.
Lifeless, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame.
Again, the runs. We have the camera focus closing out, almost like your eyes are closing. So Screech's tale is now finished. He's closing his eyes. He's met his end. So Screech's tale, another tragedy. This is very Shakespearean. We have a lot of tales of tragedy here.
Want a worry-free way?
We have another ad. We'll be back. Violet's tale. Again, we have the guitar strumming, bringing us in. Very subtle. It's drawing us into this setting of a different tale now. And the setting here is now a hospital room, a controlled environment, unlike the last two, which were complete disarray and uncontrolled environments for those live one-shot takes. Now we're in this controlled space, and I can't imagine that they got approval to use an actual hospital room for a music video. But perhaps Ren used what's at his disposal and set this whole thing up here. Just like every other location, he was using what's at his disposal. Drawing us in again. I love how the pace starts out really subtle for the guitar strumming, and then the pace picks up once it draws us in. Something drastic happened in each of the last two tales when that occurred, and now it's occurring again. And we see that Ren is in a gown in a hospital bed, and he's got the live mic on again. So I'm guessing if he was acting as a vessel for Jenny and Screech in the last two tales. Now he's acting as a vessel for the description of Violet's tale, and he's in a gown, so Violet's in the hospital. Panicked, looking frantically at the walls like he doesn't know where he is, or she doesn't know where she is in this instance. Like, how did I get here? I don't know what happened. The beautiful vocalizations. Just like he was doing with the other ones. He was harmonizing, and this one he starts the tale. Harmonizing and getting those vocalizations through. It's cutting through all the chaos. It's a calming effect before those tragedies befell us.
London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. Rhythmic beats and bloodstained sheets. Our lady weeps, she's tired and frail.
Oh, rhythmic beeps and bloodstained sheets. So the rhythmic beats, that's a double. The rhythmic beats is in the music that he's creating here, but in the rhythmic beats of the machines when you're hooked up to a monitor. The beep, 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 and then the bloodstained sheets. So something happened to her. She was injured or harmed, and she ended up in the hospital, and now she's waking up and doesn't know how she got there. That's what the eyes wandering were representing. She's fighting for her life.
To set the scene, we must rewind the hands of time for Violet's tale.
We must rewind. The strumming was even representative of rewinding a clock. Like when you see in a cartoon a clock rewinding really fast, that it's real zany. All right, rewind.
Our lady weeps, she's tired and frail. To set the scene, we must rewind the hands of time for Violet's tale.
Again, referencing a clock like Big Ben, we're rewinding that clock. So we're rewinding time to set the scene here. He's going to explain just what happened to Violet.
Violet was a silent girl, grew up with violent starts. Her mother was a drinker and her father was a bastard. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. I'll spare you of the things he did, I'm sure her mother knew.
Whoa, that is a way to describe something evil without saying too much. That was very subtle. Read between the lines is what he's telling us here. Run it back. We go out into the hallway. Let's begin the
Violet
tale.
was a silent girl, grew up with violent starts.
So, Violet was a silent girl. Never one to cause a fuss, stayed to herself, very silent, kept quiet.
Her mother was a drinker and her father was a bastard. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. I'll spend
Every night he'd tuck her tight, but never left the room. So he's sparing us the details of what transpired in a read between the lines. So Violet had a bastard father for the things he did to her, and her mother was a drinker, so it was almost as if she was oblivious to it and she used the alcohol as an excuse, but she really knew what was going on.
Spare you with the things he did, I'm sure her mother knew. Violet was a silent girl, she moved out at 16. A semi-detached council flat, paid for by a welfare scheme. Packing shelves at Tesco, stacking jars like pickled bricks. She met a boy named Stevie and he was a little prick.
We gotta run that back. The refocusing of the eyes on the camera, he went from looking at the guitar to really focusing and looking at us because he wanted us to hear this message. And I was getting really absorbed there with the vocalizations echoing off the walls in the hallway. Again, using what's at his disposal. So he's using the hallway to really echo this message across to us. And as we get further down the hallway, he still wants us to hear it. So those echoes are following us. And it's the echoes of the troubled little girls and individuals that go through these traumatizations.
Bastard. Every night he took a tie but never left the room. I'll spare you with the things he did, I'm sure her mother knew. Violet was a silent girl, she moved out at 16. A semi-detached council flat, paid for by a welfare scheme. Packing shelves at Tesco, stacking jars like pickled bricks.
So she moved out at 16, wasn't really ready to move out, but knew she had to, and now she's just taking whatever jobs she can, and her flat or house is paid for by a welfare scheme.
She met a boy named Stevie and he was a little prick.
Now she has a very shitty boyfriend.
Violet was a silent girl and Violet she fell fast. See, Stevie was a wrong and but he sure knew how to charm her. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. History repeats itself, he'd paint her black and blue and dark.
Wow, so she's having to go through this again, even though she left the trauma that was in her household as a child and she experienced as a kid. She moved out, got what she thought was the man of her dreams, and now he's treating her the same way that her father did. Both abused her, would tuck her in at night, but never left the room. He left her black and blue.
See, Stevie was a wrong un, but he sure knew how to charm her.
The bobbing of the head, like a pendulum, swinging back and forth. And it's just a continuous cycle.
Every night he took a tie, but never left the room. History repeats itself, he'd paint her black and blue.
So now history is repeating itself. She's going through exactly what she experienced as a kid. And her mother is not there this time. She's all alone. So she didn't voice anything as a kid. She was a quiet girl. And now there really is no one for her to voice it to. So she's remaining quiet.
And she never stood a chance. The devil comes to dance.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. The harmony that follows all the way, the uplifting spirit of his voice.
It repeats itself, he'd paint her black and blue and dark. She never stood a chance.
And the camera really controlled me there. Again, that first person, third person perspective. The camera really controlling where we focus, and it follows that harmony all the way up to the top, looking for hope. But notice how there is no light up there. Complete darkness. Looking for hope, but it's not there. She never stood a chance. Beautiful harmony. One more time.
She never stood a chance. The devil comes to dance.
And then after that beautiful harmony reaches the peak up through the stairwell, again using what he has at his disposal, that stairwell echoing all the way up the chamber, and then it plummets back down because now we're back down with the devil. She never stood a chance. It's back down to reality.
Violet, why are you always so quiet? on her bedroom door and he's irate. He's been drinking and smoking, he's up late.
He just used a knock in the rhyme. That was so sick.
Violet, why you always so quiet? On her bedroom door and he's irate. He's been drinking and smoking, he's up late. And he stands by her bedside, she shakes, but her eyes stay shut. You fucking slut,
He's entering the room, trying to torture her more and abuse her. So she looked for hope, and now she's back down in her living hell, and she's just trying to sleep, and he's coming in for more abuse. Knocks on her bedroom door.
Her bedroom door and he's irate. He's been drinking and smoking, he's up late. And he stands by her bedside, she shakes.
I love how you can see the craziness in his eyes, because now it's representing not only the traumatic experience and the craziness that is enveloping Violet's tale, but the craziness that is Stevie, her boyfriend. And that's probably the manic look that he had in his eyes when he entered that room, and this is representative of that. Great job at embodying just all of these characteristics that he shows for each character. He embodies art, and he definitely is a manifestation of the theatrics himself. This should really be developed into a play. The tales of Jenny, Screech, and Violet should be a stage play. This should be shown on the stage, the main stage, the theatrics and everything that go along with it. And he does it all himself. He's a one-man band here. The one-man stage presence.
But her eyes stay shut. You fucking slut, I know you're up. And he pinches her eyelids and folds them up. Violet.
The focus on the camera lens. She won't focus. She's sleeping, and he wants her focus. Wow.
And he stands by her bedside, she shakes, but her eyes stay shut. You fucking slut, I know you're up. And he pinches her eyelids and folds them up. Violet.
Wow. Her eyes stay shut, so he pinches her eyelids up so she can focus. Open your eyes, Violet, and focus right on him. And the camera focus changes from when the eyes are closed and to when they're open, so it can really focus in on what he wants her to see.
Slut, I know you're up. And he pinches her eyelids and folds them up. Violet. Why you lying to me, Violet? She stays silent. Things turn violent.
Violet, why you lying to me, Violet? She's lying down, but he sees that as in lying to him. So she's lying as in she's sleeping, but she's also lying to him by pretending to be asleep.
Violet, why you lying to me, Violet? She stays silent. Things turn violent.
Again, she stays silent, but things turn violent. So no matter what she does, whether she fights back, she reaches out for help, cries, she stays silent. Again, she's still a quiet girl, even from her childhood to now. And it still results in violence, no matter what. Violence.
Me, Violet, she stays silent. Things turn violent. That's the sound of his fists when they fall like a crashing pilot.
He used the guitar as an instrument to represent fist. Genius. The strumming. Bap, bap, bap. Like he's beating her. Violet is taking a beating right now, just for remaining silent.
That's the sound of his fists when they fall like a crashing pilot. Hit like hailstones, one to the collarbone.
Oh, like a crashing pilot. It's falling out of the sky, and it's like hailstorms, again, coming down from the sky. But this is something much more drastic than just hail. This is an aircraft crashing over you.
When they fall like a crashing pilot. Hit like hailstones, one to the collarbone, full force, full blown, blood splat, bone crack, knick knack, paddy whack, one to the jaw and the tooth spat, detached fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to miss direct the blow, but nonetheless his punches met her throat. Such a mess, he's left her bruised and broke.
Wow, the description with the boxing references And the bobbing and weaving, he even had me bobbing and weaving as he was describing that. Run it back.
Like a crashing pilot. Hit like hailstones, one to the collarbone, full force, full blown, blood's black bone, crack, knick, knack, paddy whack, one to the jaw and the tooth spat, detached fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to misdirect the blow, but nonetheless is
quick deflect to misdirect the blow. The rhythm and flow that he's getting there, and he's using his body, because rhythm and flow is also not just representative of music, but in boxing or martial arts, the rhythm and flow of your movement, and he's representing that here. How he's able to just show us the artistic side with the way he describes things with his body, his voice, the instruments. Mind-blowing. He has me bobbing and weaving, and the camera focusing in here as it almost had a 3D effect. I felt like I was about to see his fist come through the screen.
black bone, crack, knick, knack, paddy whack, one to the jaw and the tooth spat, detached fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to misdirect the blow, but nonetheless his punches met her throat. Such a mess, he's left her bruised and broke.
Look at how his face changed. That's such a mess. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry, babe. I didn't mean to do that. Before it was that intensity, his eyes piercing into Violet's soul as he was beating her. And she was bobbing and weaving, trying to deflect the blows, and now he sees what he's done to her. I'm sorry. And look at how his face changes, almost in an empathetic manner. But he doesn't really feel that way. He only regrets it after he sees what he did.
Touch fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to misdirect the blow, but nonetheless his punches met her throat. Such a mess, he's left her bruised and broke. Violet, why you always so silent, Violet? Why you such a little liar, Violet? Do you think I want to do this, Violet? In character, she stays silent.
Wow, in character, she stays silent. He's dancing around her. Why did you make me do this? Almost as if it's her fault. But she stayed silent. Tying in the abuse of relationships. And it's that mental aspect. He's shouting at her, why'd you make me do this, Violet? But it's not really her fault. She did nothing. She remained silent. And there's so many abuse cases where people remain silent and their partner continues the pattern of abuse.
Violet, why you always so silent, Violet? Why you such a little liar, Violet? Do you think I want to do this, Violet?
Almost as if he's punishing her for being silent.
In character, she stays silent. Well, say something, Violet. Silence. Fucking say something, Violet. Silence.
Man, this is just like a Shakespearean tale. He's drawing us in and out. So we go into the story, and then the narrator says, silence. And he's bringing us back in again, and then a pause as he's explaining. Just that pause. Regain composure, back into the scene. Pause. He really commands this whole one-shot film here.
Wait. Say something. Wait.
Now that we're out in this uncontrolled environment again, and the chaos has ensued, I really believe that that's representative of why he came outside. Because chaos ensues when you're out of your safe space, which was the hospital. And now he's outside again, and we can hear things in the distance, and that sounded like seagulls. I would know. I was just at the beach for a week, and I kept hearing those cackling sea chickens in the distance and trying to fly overhead and take my food. So that was definitely seagulls.
Say something, Violet. Not one word. She stays quiet.
Back to the guitar strumming and the very monotone playing. We're back into this uncontrolled environment. He's about to go down the alley, venture out into the night. Violet stayed silent.
stays quiet. London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. The doctor...
That's a callback to the beginning. Again, so he, just like the last two tales, he plays the sequence in the beginning and then reverts back to it right at the end of the tale. So now this is another callback to the beginning of Violet's tale.
In a state of shock, saw something here so very wrong. See, Violet, she was pregnant. Poor Violet, she was 9 months gone. Turning to the doctor, Violet broke her silence and she cried, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. The doctor soon regained composure, called the surgeon to come in. As Violet's world turned to black, the curtains closed, the lights went dim. In London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington just lost the fight to stay alive. A tragedy or a miracle, it happened on these very streets. Two twins aligned side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
No. No. No way. No way Ren just pulled that movie plot twist on me. What? They were related? They were twins? Wow. We have to run that back.
Far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. The doctor, in a state of shock, saw something here so very wrong. See, Violet, she was pregnant. Poor Violet, she was 9 months gone. Turning to the doctor, Violet broke her silence and she cried, if I'm to die right here tonight.
Wow. I can't believe he did this to me. Ren, you cheeky bastard. This is amazing how he just pieced all that together in the end. And he said at the beginning of Violet's tale that he had to rewind the clock and go back to where the story began. So he ended this story with its true beginning.
Please let my baby stay alive. The doctor soon regained.
And again, he's controlling his body here. He's using his mannerisms and the stumbling to represent the battered Violet, beaten and battered and pregnant and frantic. She's going to the doctors for help. She's finally broke her silence and she's seeking help. And again, when she was in the hospital, she was in that confined area, the safety of the hospital. But as soon as it exited and came outside, all of that chaos ensued. It was an uncontrolled environment. Just like Jenny's tale, just like Screech's tale, and now Violet's tale. All uncontrolled environments in the end. Wow. So Violet is the mother of Jenny and Screech. Wow, Ren. This. I don't even know what to say. Another masterpiece. This guy can't miss. Everything he does is so masterful. And just him walking down again, alone with his guitar in the alley in the gown, representing Violet. It's just masterful art. He embodies art.
In composure, called the surgeon to come in. As Violet's world turned to black, the curtains closed, the lights went dim. In London City, far from pretty, 2005, a lady down in Paddington just lost the fight to stay alive. A tragedy or a miracle, it happened on these very streets to...
Oh, a tragedy or a miracle. That's really something to behold there, and something, a little nugget to think on. He wants you to chew on that. Is it a tragedy or a miracle? Is it a tragedy because she lost her life and won't get to see her kids grow? Or is it a miracle because she escaped the abusive patterns that she suffered throughout her life, and she doesn't have to see what her children will grow to become? Wow. And maybe that's Jenny and Screech don't know each other because they were separated at birth. Their mother lost their life and their father wasn't there. So they were perhaps given up for adoption and they were separated, but they lived so close together. And then they finally crossed paths 14 years later. And that ended in a tragedy. Oh my. So, as he says, a tragedy or a miracle? You decide.
Twins are lying side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
Two twins laying side by side. So they ended their lives the way they started them, side by side. Just like in the womb, side by side. Everything comes full circle. They were brought back together. So Violet gave her life for her kids to have life. And then, while her life ended in tragedy, so did theirs. There was so much to this. The masterful settings and using what is truly at your disposal, whether it's the guitar or the areas that you're filming in, and the vocalizations and the harmonies bouncing off the walls in your environment. Screech yelling out as the sirens are yelling out also, matching his tone, challenging him. Jenny looking frantic because of the mannerisms that Ren allows us to see throughout each of these tales. There's just so much. This is beautiful how he pieced this together. He's a true modern day Shakespeare. Complete and utter, absolute, masterful art. The embodiment of art. Wow. Now I see why this was so heavily requested. This was a lot. Thank you for the recommendation. I'm glad I got to go down this journey. The true beauty in tragedy is what was just experienced here. Thanks to everyone who recommended this, all the renegades, shout out to you. And shout out to Ren and Sam for the single camera shot work they did here and everything they were able to make us feel. I could feel every strum, every camera pan, the focus, the vocals. I could feel everything that he was describing. And he really drew me into these tales. Beautifully done. It's your boy, Snake Venom, S to the V. Peace.